Welcome to the Wisconsin Association of African American Lawyers' 30th Annual Vel and Dale Virtual Scholarship Program. My name is Jernea Marr, and for those of you who don't know, I am the weekend morning anchor at WISN 12 News, but this evening I am honored to serve as your Master of Ceremonies. We are gathered here virtually in celebration of the strides we have taken in diversifying the legal community, in celebration of African American law students and attorneys, and most importantly, in honor of the late Vel and Dale Phillips. As most of you know, the pinnacle of this evening is the presentation of awards. It is a special treat for us this evening because we will be recognizing the winners for both 2020 and 2021. We will award 4 law students with a Vel and Dale Scholarship Award in honor of the late Vel and Dale Phillips. We will also award 4 more law students with scholarships in honor of Judge Maxine Aldridge White and Judge Charles N. Cleaver Jr. In addition to the award presentation, you will also hear from Rhonda Powell, Chief Legal Officer and Corporate Secretary of BuzzFeed Incorporated. Finally, we will end the program by honoring the 2020 and 2021 WAAL Attorney of the Year. With that said, let's move to our next item on the program this evening, a moment of history and reflection in honor of the 30th anniversary of the Vel and Dale event by attorney Larry Ferris. Attorney Ferris was WAAL's first president from 1988 to 1989.
Hello, my name is Larry Ferris. I graduated from the University of Wisconsin Law School in 1972. I was interested in poverty law and accepted a position at Milwaukee Legal Services, which later became Legal Action of Wisconsin. I became the managing attorney of the Northside Legal Services. After a couple of years, I went into private practice before working at the UAW-GM Legal Services plant in Milwaukee, where I was the managing attorney. I was deeply concerned about Black students matriculating through Milwaukee primary and secondary schools. Yolanda Hardaway, who worked for UAW Chrysler Legal Services in Kenosha at the time, we began discussing creating an advocacy organization of Black lawyers to address issues affecting Black children in Milwaukee public schools. We wanted to work with the Coalition for Peaceful Schools and other allies to build better schools in the city. In 1988, we met with other Black attorneys at Yolanda's house and created the Wisconsin Association of Minority Attorneys, WAMA. At that time, WAMA was primarily focused on advocacy. Black students were being expelled at alarming rates and did not have representation at disciplinary hearings. We were also concerned about busing, which created segregation in the city schools. Thinking about WAAL, what WAAL has now become is impressive. WAAL has more members than we ever had. WAAL's reach and footprint is much larger. I am proud of what it has become and its community engagement.
Thank you, Attorney Ferris, for that look back at WAAL and this special event. It's really incredible that we are all here virtually celebrating the Vel and Dale program's 30th anniversary. At this time, I'd like to introduce Attorney William Sultan. Attorney Sultan is the outgoing president of the Wisconsin Association of African American Lawyers.
Over the last year, people like you have helped WAAL face the challenges of being African American lawyers and legal professionals during the COVID-19 pandemic. As we move ahead from here and look to the future, I want to thank you for making this work possible. In conversations such as individual meetings and question and answer periods after talks throughout Wisconsin, I have seen a common thread. Again and again, people have shared that they are concerned. They worry about the number of African American law students matriculating through the University of Wisconsin and Marquette law schools. They worry about the placement of young African American lawyers at law firms, companies, and government agencies. They worry about the retention and promotion of African American lawyers at the same places. They worry about the workplace environment and whether employers' investment in equity, diversity, inclusion, and belonging goals are genuine, impactful, and long-lasting. Because victories do not stay won, work is required. Advancing WAAL's mission is not easy. It is not always comfortable speaking to stakeholders, leaders, and others about why it is important to invest in African American legal talent. It is not convenient to respond to unpredictable events and opportunities, but with your help, we keep doing it. The WAAL Board created the Growing the Black Business Owner series. Board members have been asked to speak at numerous events about EDIB. Our flagship expungement clinic has continued its important work. Board members are mentoring law students and new lawyers. WAAL's membership and influence has grown exponentially due to the hard work of the WAAL Board and you, the members. There are more African American judges in Wisconsin than at any other time. There are more African American partners at law firms and general counsels and assistant counsels at companies. We have created opportunities and seized them. Thank you for all that you have done to generate this momentum and for all that you will do to maintain it. There is no other organization for this work like WAAL. We work as a statewide organization of African American lawyers. We work in the courts and in the boardrooms. WAAL is unique with a driven focus that I have been proud to carry as president this past year and as a board member for nearly a decade. The COVID-19 pandemic has forced lawyers and the legal system to adapt in unexpected ways. I am so grateful that so many people who care about African American lawyers and legal professionals have turned to WAAL during this especially difficult time. We hope that you will stay with us for more of that work because that is what WAAL does.
My name is Mark Camelli. I'm co-chair of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee at my firm, Reinhardt Berner Van Duren. On behalf of our firm, I'm honored to welcome you to this year's landmark 30th Annual Vel and Dale Scholarship Program. Reinhardt is proud to be a long-term sponsor of WAAL and this program, and we send our best to you for what will undoubtedly be a spectacular evening. Thank you, WAAL, for everything you do in our community. Take care, everyone.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Amber Rafit August, and I am the incoming president of WAAL. Thank you again for joining us. Tonight, we celebrate the 30th annual Vel and Dale Virtual Scholarship Program in honor of trailblazers Vel and Dale Phillips. Their legacy and your continued support is what has sustained this event for the last 3 decades, and I am very fortunate to be on the cusp of beginning my WAAL presidency. Before I discuss our new board of directors, I want to express my deep gratitude to William Sultan for leading the WAAL board through another unprecedented year where we were still able to support our members, provide timely trainings and opportunities, and support our community at large. We would not have been able to do this without his leadership and vision. With that, I am extremely excited to introduce you all to our new board of directors for the 2021-2022 year. As you just heard, William Sultan will be serving soon as our immediate past president. We also will have Ashley Smith as president-elect, Krista Seymour as treasurer, Dr. Alexander Lodge as parliamentarian, Michelle McPhail as Financial Secretary, Jordan Glenn as Corresponding Secretary, Mary Johnson as Director of Community Outreach, Asia Patterson as Director of Internal Communications, Brittany Miller as Director of External Communications, and Chad E. Kemp as Madison Liaison. We are expecting big things with this new board, and I am so happy to welcome them all onto the team. The theme for this scholarship event and for the coming year is Elevating Voices, Shaping Our Future. We are here tonight celebrating the accomplishments of our law students and scholarship recipients for 2020 and 2021. This event exists to support them and highlight all of the amazing things that they are doing academically, in the community, and in support of the ideals and values of WAAL and of Vel and Dale Phillips. By supporting these students, we are elevating their unique and personal stories to our WAAL members and the community at large. These students are our future. They are future lawyers, future members of the bar, and hopefully future WAAL board members as well. Even as law students, they are shaping their future and the future of our legal profession through their academic prowess and volunteerism outside of the classroom. I also think it is important for all of us attorneys to continue to recognize that we have a unique role and opportunity to support not only students, but others. We can use our voices to speak up for those who cannot. We can use our skills to elevate others into opportunities and open doors. The namesakes of this scholarship event recognize that we have the power to shape our futures, and it is important that we continue to do so. As we move into this next year of WAAL, I hope you will join me in continuing to elevate the organization and others as we look forward into our future.
Congratulations, new president, attorney Rafit August, and to the 2021-2022 WAAL Board of Directors. In recognition of WAAL's 30th Vel and Dale Scholarship Program, we're grateful to share some congratulatory messages that we've received from public officials who recognize the importance of this event and the work that WAAL does for the legal community.
Greetings, I'm U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin. Today, it is my privilege to congratulate the Wisconsin Association of African American Lawyers on 30 years of providing scholarships to Black law students in Wisconsin. This year's theme of elevating voices and shaping our future is such an appropriate way to honor the achievements of trailblazers like the late Vel and Dale Phillips, both of whom did so much to lift voices in Wisconsin's African American community. Your commitment to the Vel and Dale Scholarship Program ensures that Black Wisconsinites will continue to lead the way to a more just future. Again, congratulations.
Hello, Governor Tony Evers here, and I'm excited to join you virtually for the 30th annual Vel and Dale Virtual Scholarship Program. It's hard to imagine two Wisconsinites who have had a greater impact on our state's fight for equity and justice than Vel and Dale Phillips. It's wonderful to have this opportunity to honor their legacy tonight as we celebrate the Vel and Dale Scholarship Award and the excellence and accomplishments of law students and lawyers across Wisconsin. For 3 decades now, the Wisconsin Association of African American Lawyers has been instrumental in helping cultivate and support new generations of Black lawyers in this state. This is no walk in the park. The legal profession remains one of the least diverse industries in our state and nation, and Black lawyers and legal professionals face significant barriers in this industry. But time and again, WAAL's incredible work has ensured aspiring Black lawyers and legal students have the tools, resources, and support they need to overcome these obstacles and succeed, including through several scholarship awards like Vel and Dale Scholarship Award we're celebrating tonight. And your uplifting of Black Wisconsinite doesn't end when they finish law school. You continue to support folks throughout their careers, celebrating their accomplishments and promoting professional development. WAAL truly embraces Vel and Dale Phillips' legacy of service to your community and advocating for equity, diversity, and justice in our state. Each of you should be proud of the work you do. So tonight, I'm proud to join you in celebrating the next generation of lawyers in our state in our continued fight to ensure equity and opportunity for every Wisconsinite. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Congresswoman Gwen Moore, and I'm so pleased to welcome you all to this great event celebrating the 30th anniversary of the Vel and Dale Phillips Scholarship to help educate the next generation of outstanding Black lawyers in our state. You know, this scholarship celebrates and honors two great Wisconsinites, Vel and Dale Phillips, the power lawyer couple who weren't afraid to take risks and use their voices to create change. You know, Vel Phillips was a mentor and a close friend of mine. She was a woman of many firsts, including becoming Wisconsin's first Black Secretary of State, first Black judge, and first woman elected to Milwaukee's Common Council, and I could just go on. But she was also, along with her husband, a soldier in the trenches for justice. She wasn't afraid to take to the streets in the name of equality. You know, I remember cutting class to march with her and Father Grumpy against housing discrimination in Milwaukee. I first met Vel when I was 16 years old, competing in an oratorical contest. And what I remember most from that day was that Vel Phillips saw me for my potential and my talent and not for the worn clothes that I had on. And you know what? That's the Vel Phillips legacy that I see fulfilled in this scholarship. Vel's determined spirit and courage made Milwaukee and the state of Wisconsin better for all of us. And her legacy can live on in future generations of Wisconsinites who fight for equity in our communities. Oh, I want to applaud the Wisconsin Association of African American Lawyers for its continued efforts to improve our community and to help elevate a new generation of Black attorneys, while also recognizing the soldiers of giants like Vel and Dale Phillips, on which all of us are standing. Thank you and take care.
Hi, I'm Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett, and I want to thank you for inviting me to join in today's Vel and Dale Virtual Scholarship Program celebration in recognition of Vel and Dale Phillips, two legendary Milwaukee attorneys. The scholarships provided through this program over the past 30 years at Marquette University and the University of Wisconsin are an investment in the future leaders of our state and of our nation. As tonight's theme suggests, your voice is your power to shape the future. Do not be afraid to speak up when you see something that needs to change. We need the knowledge, skills, experiences, and voices of Black lawyers to continue to advocate for justice and work toward progress, just as the Phillips did. I'm excited to see what the future holds for this generation of scholarship recipients, individuals recognized for their intellect and achievement who will go on to transform the legal field. Congratulations on 30 years, an important milestone in this work of providing scholarships to African-American law students in Wisconsin. Here's to many more years to come.
Thank you, Mayor Barrett, for supporting WAAL on our 30th anniversary of the Vel and Dale Scholarship Program. This evening, we have the great honor of hearing from powerhouse attorney Rhonda Powell, Chief Legal Officer and Corporate Secretary of BuzzFeed Incorporated. At BuzzFeed, Attorney Powell leads a team of professional and administrative staff that supports all areas of the company's rapidly growing digital media business. Now, prior to Ms. Powell joining BuzzFeed in September of 2018, she worked at Complex Networks, where she previously served as Chief Legal Officer and Corporate Secretary. Attorney Powell earned a law degree from University of Michigan Law School, where she was named Clarence Darrow Merit Scholar. In addition to her work, she serves as a mentor to several young women and men throughout New York metropolitan area, including high school, college, and law school students, as well as junior lawyers. And now, let's hear from attorney Rhonda Powell.
Good evening. So many career-based organizations are centered on the professional ambitions of their members and their success. But people of color have a long history of mobilizing professional organizations to consolidate skills and strength for the benefit of their communities, as crucibles in which the power of change is generated. WAAL is such an organization. The impact of WAAL on Wisconsin's legal environment and the experience of Black residents within that legal environment, whether in a corporate, regulatory, civil, or criminal context, cannot be overestimated. It is truly an honor to be with you virtually to celebrate 30 years of WAAL's legacy of empowering Wisconsin's Black lawyers and law students, and advocating for equity and justice for all the state's residents, particularly communities of color and other underrepresented groups experiencing marginalization, poverty, discrimination, or other forms of injustice. I'm with you this evening as you celebrate the extraordinary law students who have been selected as the recipients of the 2021 WAAL Scholarship Awards, including the Vel and Dale Scholarships, the Judge Maxine Aldridge White Book Scholarship, and the Judge Charles N. Clevert Scholarship Award. And I extend to each award recipient congratulations on this significant accomplishment. I also want to extend my appreciation to each of you for your commitment not only to academic excellence, but also to opening doors and creating paths for equity and justice at your institutions and the larger communities of which they form a part. Those commitments, both to excellence and equity, will be the foundations for your future success. No matter what area of law you choose to practice, the ability to have a positive impact, to protect, to support, to advocate, to create equity, to challenge bias and discrimination will be present, and it will be your responsibility and privilege to make that impact. WAAL and the attorneys who have maintained and sustained the organization for 30 years are providing you with excellent role models in this regard. The eternal nature of the process of acting upon or implementing the theories and principles that you've learned in law school is precisely why the legal profession is described as a practice. After 27 years in law firms and multinational corporations, the word practice is as appropriate to my work today as it was when I was a first-year associate. Not because I haven't developed and expanded my expertise, but because the legal landscape continuously expands to address new challenges, new facts, and new circumstances. Having spent most of my career working with companies buying, selling, or managing intellectual property assets, media and entertainment, technology, biotechnology, textiles, and fashion, I've experienced firsthand the rapid adaptation and evolution of legal principles to address economic and social issues raised by the development, acquisition, and exploitation of intellectual property assets. I'm proud to be part of the slow but steady progress within the media and entertainment industry, from stories told about Black people to stories told by Black people. Moving from disembodied characterizations on screen to the control of the pen, the camera, and the vision. It is not enough to see the Black community represented on television or in film. We have to see our community in its fullness, as people who have survived and even thrived in spite of the systematic devaluation of their humanity. Law is no less a practice when focused upon issues of social justice and human rights, and in fact, it is even more so. This country continues to struggle with confronting the truth of its origins, an economic system that utilized racism to create and exploit a free labor supply, and continues to use racism to marginalize and exclude BIPOC communities from full participation in employment, equity in compensation, and accrual of wealth. It is through legal practice that Black lawyers and our allies have addressed and continue to address the ever-evolving laws, regulations, and practices that often seek to reimpose restrictions and constraints on BIPOC communities that will have the same impact as slavery-era laws that prohibited Black people from learning to read and write, and Jim Crow laws that codified segregated inferior education, housing, and public accommodations. As those laws were ruled unconstitutional, towns and cities have withdrawn resources from and underfunded public school systems, forced to integrate. And white families have used their relative wealth to send their children to private schools or move to economically and racially segregated towns. Explicit enforcement of racial covenants in property deeds has been replaced by redlining, predatory lending, and overall lack of access to capital that has resulted in a decline in Black home ownership. As the brief window of Reconstruction in post-slavery America was quickly vanquished by the rise of Jim Crow, the post-civil rights era America has abandoned any pretense of a commitment to both equality and equity. And while that lack of commitment has impacted many citizens, it has been felt most notably by Black Americans and other communities of color. The scope of the challenge and the depth of the inequity can be overwhelming. At such a critical time in the pursuit of social and economic justice in America, it may seem as though every Black lawyer should become a civil rights attorney, a constitutional law scholar, a legislator, or a member of the judiciary. All of these pursuits are vital and laudable, and if that is where your inspiration leads you, I say go forward with vigor and intensity. But I also want to make it clear that we need Black lawyers in every area of practice and in every state of the union if we are to permanently move the needle toward freedom, liberty, and the unencumbered pursuit of happiness, not just for Black people, but for all communities of color who faced oppression and suppression in this country. Yes, achieving victories in court and having a legislative voice were and remain crucial ways of effecting change in American society. But more than 60 years following Brown versus Board of Education, and more than 50 years after passage of the Voting Rights Act, we've learned that the acknowledgement that separate was inherently unequal may have required desegregation under the law, but it does not ensure access to equality, nor does it inhibit resegregation in practice. In spite of hard-won legal victories and legislative gains, much still remains to be done in boardrooms, corporate legal departments, government agencies, universities, including law schools, NGOs and nonprofits, to disrupt and destroy the patterns of behavior that undermine equity and equality for all in our society. It is in these settings that the review processes for loan applications, job applications, and mortgage applications are scrutinized, and important changes can be made to drive equity and eliminate bias. It is in these rooms that decisions about how, where, and to whom to direct services are made. Qualifications are judged, and worthiness is adjudicated. To that end, we need every single one of you in all of these spaces. All of your efforts and contributions are valued, necessary, and urgent. I chose my path because I believed then as a young lawyer and continue to believe today that the best contribution that I could make to my community was to provide access to other lawyers of color and other young people who would become lawyers, to identify, hire, mentor, and sponsor BIPOC lawyers and BIPOC students at every phase of their education, particularly those interested in pursuing law as a career, has always been of the utmost importance to me. And I've been intentional about shining the light on and developing relationships with them, both within and outside my company. My job has placed me in a unique position to engage in meaningful dialogue with law firms and with other third-party service providers who now understand that my willingness to engage them for my matters is dependent on their ability to send me teams of attorneys that reflect the diversity that I've built in my own legal department. The myth of scarcity of diverse talent is truly a myth. I see, hear from, and hear about talented attorneys of color daily. What does still remain scarce in relative terms are the opportunities for this talent, particularly high compensation opportunities, to be seen and to thrive in corporate law firms and in-house legal departments. Why are these opportunities so critically important? Because shrinking the tremendous wealth gap in this country is dependent in part on the ability of people of color to reduce debt, particularly education-related debt, and increase the amount of income available to invest in real estate and other appreciating assets. People of color have, on average, far more education-related debt than their white counterparts. And without access to more lucrative employment opportunities, the path to paying off the debt is treacherous. As a result, the ability to invest in efforts to build wealth, 401k participation, real estate purchases, consistent savings, are out of reach for sometimes dozens of years. So no matter what your passion or participation in the practice of law, I emphatically reiterate, we need you. With your understanding of the law, a language and perspective unto itself, you are uniquely positioned to effect change and impact every room into which you enter. I urge you to take on the challenge of continuing to expand the sphere of influence of Black attorneys and to take confidence in the fact that you already belong in these rooms. And once you are there, once you make your way inside, don't just hold the door for those directly behind you, but write down the passcodes, master the secret handshakes, and share them with those who are only now setting out on this journey. The high schoolers, the college students, the 1Ls. Say their names in these closed rooms with rarefied air, and the names of the institutions that will be on many of their resumes: Howard, Morehouse, Spelman, Hampton, Florida A&M, Xavier, and more. Set the stage for their places at the table long after you leave. Seize upon this moment to speak your truth and articulate for your allies what anti-racism not only means, but what it requires of them. And hold them to it. You are already brave. I'm asking you to be relentless in your efforts and indomitable in your spirit. I know that I'm asking a lot, and maybe WAAL would not have invited me to speak tonight if I'd said, by the way, I'll be making a few demands of your membership. But I wouldn't ask this of you if I wasn't holding myself to the same standard. Many, if not all of you, are taking these steps already, in which case, accept my words as praise for the past and encouragement for the future. I'm closing with a few additional words of encouragement that I've taken from the title of a book recently published by Tarana Burke, the activist and founder of the Me Too movement. You are your best thing. That is true for each of you individually, but also true for America's Black community in its entirety. Our creativity, strength, resilience, and brilliance empower us in the effort to press and push this country toward its promise to be a more perfect union, and shield us from the often violent resistance as we would hold the country accountable for its failures. No matter the circumstance or the challenge, we have been and will continue to be our own best thing, belonging to all but also only to ourselves, to be shared freely with and inform the world like a sacred hymn, but with the words and the notes permanently and individually inscribed on each of our hearts. Thank you for inviting me to be with you tonight. Congratulations to all of the awardees, and have a wonderful evening. Good night, and God bless.
Thank you, Attorney Powell, for that inspiring keynote speech. Now to the portion of the evening that you have all been waiting for, the presentation of the 2020 and 2021 Scholarship Awards. Presenting this evening's Scholarship Awards for 2020 and 2021 are Magistrate Judge Nancy Joseph and Judge Maxine Aldrich White and Judge Charles N. Cleaver, Jr. Judge Nancy Joseph, a longtime WAAL member and chair of the Scholarship Selection Committee, is a federal magistrate judge in the Eastern District. In 2013, she was recognized as WAAL Member of the Year. Judge Joseph will present the Vel and Dale Scholarship Awards this evening for 2020 and 2021.
Good afternoon. I am Nancy Joseph, Magistrate Judge in the U.S. District Court. It is really my pleasure to present the Vel and Dale Scholarships. Each year, WAAL awards 2 scholarships each to each of the law schools. And this year, I'll be presenting both scholars for the years 2020 and 2021. In 2020, Vel and Dale scholarships were awarded to Brittany Miller of University of Wisconsin Law School and Liliana Anderson of Marquette University Law School. Prior to attending University of Wisconsin Law School, Brittany earned her bachelor's degree at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and then worked for several years as a paralegal with the United States Air Force. Brittany, in her application essay, defined service as seeing a void and filling it. She wrote, "Community service is looking outside of your immediate circle of friends, family, and acquaintances and filling a void in our community." Indeed, Brittany lived that motto. While in law school, Brittany held many positions of leadership, including co-president of the Black Student Association and chair of the Professional Development Organization. Brittany's work in filling the void included outreach to high school students to introduce them to the law, outreach to youth in juvenile detention to provide them support, and mentoring diverse undergraduate students interested in law. Brittany, for your leadership, for your service, you are well deserving of the Vel and Dale Scholarship. Liliana, our second Vel and Dale Scholarship recipient for the 2020, has wanted to be a lawyer ever since she was a little girl. But her path to law school has been anything but easy. Liliana married while still in high school and had her first child. After high school, she went straight to working. She wrote that at that point, she thought her dream of becoming a lawyer was just too hard. However, she did not give up. She enrolled in MATC, where she excelled, which allowed her to then transfer to UW Milwaukee. She earned her bachelor's degree there and eventually made her way to law school, to Marquette Law School. While juggling the responsibilities of raising 4 children and working part-time, Liliana still made time to contribute to the law school and to the community in general. Liliana is the vice president of the Association of Law Students with Families and the 1L representative for the Black Law Student Association. In addition, Liliana organized law students to assist immigrants going through the process of becoming U.S. citizens. Liliana, for your community service, leadership, and perseverance, you are well deserving of the Vel and Dale Scholarship. For the years 2021, the Vel and Dale Scholarship recipients are Mamadou Jawo and Jordan Zali Kaffer. The needs of the world are where the opportunities lie. That's Mamadou's statement. And that is the statement he delivered at Edgewood College, where he earned his undergraduate degree in criminal justice. And that is the message that Mamadou has lived by. The needs of the world are where the opportunities lie. While at Edgewood, when he saw a need for resources for students interested in Korean law, Mamadou started the first law student organization. At the University of Wisconsin Law School, Mamadou continued living up to his creed, being active in Black Law Student Association, mock trial, immigration justice, and other activities. Where Mamadou has especially shown was with work with the Dane County Court-appointed Special Counsel, known as CASA, where he was an advocate for the best interests of children in child welfare and in juvenile justice system. Of Mamadou, the CASA program director wrote, this is a direct quote, "I have worked with and supervised hundreds of advocates, and none of them surpass Mamadou. Mamadou, for your commitment to service and leadership, you too are deserving of the Vel and Dale Scholarship." And then finally, for the 2021 Vel and Dale Scholarship, we have Ms. Jordan Zali Kaffer. Jordan graduated summa cum laude with a bachelor's degree in psychology from Loyola University. At Loyola, Jordan established the campus's first Women of Color initiative called Mosaic. Jordan, now at Marquette Law School, is the recipient of the prestigious Thomas More Law Scholarship. But Jordan is far more than her academics. She's also active on campus with the Black Law Student Association, the Association of Women Lawyers, and Black Entertainment and Sports Lawyers Association. She has impressed her professors with her intellect, work ethic, and high character. This is what Jordan wrote. "Rather than complete the bare minimum, I am not afraid to challenge myself or my colleagues to go above and beyond, essentially mirroring the determinations showcased by each luminary who inspired the WAAL Scholarship." Well, Jordan, you are well on your way to joining the luminaries yourself. Congratulations, you too are well deserving of a Vel and Dale Scholarship. Congratulations to all 4 scholarship recipients. We cannot wait to see how you continue the legacies of Vel and Dale Phillips.
Judge Maxine Aldridge White is a District 1 Court of Appeals judge for the state of Wisconsin. She served as the president of WAAL from 2008 to 2009. WAAL created the Honorable Maxine Aldridge White Book Scholarship in observance of her dedication to and excellence within the legal community. Judge White will present the Honorable Maxine Aldridge White Book Scholarship Award this evening for 2020 and 2021.
My name is Maxine Aldridge White, and it gives me great honor and pleasure to present the awards for the Honorable Maxine Aldridge White Scholarship which is named after me, and I can't say enough about Wisconsin African American Lawyers Association for honoring me, and I'm so glad that I can honor others for the work that they do. We have two recipients, that is Angelica M. Hutchins and Mason Andrew Higgins. Angelica Hutchins is a law student at Marquette University Law School, and she actually worked in law about 8 years before she became a lawyer. Her undergraduate degree is from Howard University in Bachelor of Arts in Political Science, and she's a candidate for a Juris Doctorate degree in May of 2023. She is an outstanding student and person. Upon deciding to return to Milwaukee after finishing her undergraduate degree at Howard, she found it necessary to get experience in law before deciding if she would ultimately commit to pursuing a law degree. Sounds familiar to a lot of us. After a few job opportunities, she found herself comfortable in a position at a small law firm in downtown Milwaukee. The experience that she gained there led her to an itching reminder of her end goal. After working at the firm for several years, she decided it was time to leave and commit to being a full-time law student. At Marquette Law School, she's a member of various organizations doing great works: the Milwaukee University Black Law Students Association, First Generation Professionals, and Entertainment Law Society. She's also a law student ambassador for the upcoming 2021-22 school year. She's elected vice president for BALSA, as well as 21 representative for FGP, and most recently, she's been asked to co-chair the Marquette Law Mentorship Program. One of her recommending assistant deans wrote, "Angelica jumps in. She seizes opportunities, she works hard, connects with others, and works to support those around her. As a result, she's been offered other leadership positions. She's highly regarded, confident, and diligent. It gives me great pleasure to present to her the Honorable Maxine Aldrich White Book Scholarship." Mason Andrew Higgins is also a recipient of the Honorable Maxine Aldrich White Book Scholarship. Mason is also an amazing person that we're lucky to have in law. When he was a very young man, I'm told that since kindergarten, he dreamed of being elected President of the United States. The secretaries at the elementary school where he attended used to greet him as Mr. President every morning. He believed that this started after he had worn either an American flag pin or maybe an American flag t-shirt if they made them at the time. Either way, they wanted to encourage him, as we are now, to show him how much he lights up the world of so many other people. Now, Mason too has arrived in law school with a degree from Southern Illinois University in Carbondale. He studied Spanish and criminology and criminal justice. And he is a Juris Doctorate candidate at the University of Wisconsin Law School, and he'll graduate in May of 2022. He is an amazing young man. He's done a lot of work too before he went to law school. As a law clerk, second lieutenant platoon leader in the infantry, City of Madison police officer, undergraduate assistant to the Chancellor Scholar Program, and Office of the Illinois Attorney General. He's had lots of awards, just like Angelica. And he's an amazing person who got a lot of recommendations for this award. One of the writers on behalf of Mason wrote, "I met Mason when I was asked to coach the mock trial team. I found him to be energetic, mature, compassionate, and genuinely well-rounded. I truly believe that Mason is going to be an outstanding attorney." While discussing his legal strategy, Mason stood out as astute and instinctive. He was well prepared, and although new to litigation, he was an impressive young man by his manner and analytical approach to prosecuting cases. Now, these awards don't come easy. We have a lot of candidates who are well prepared to take on the world as law students and compete for these awards. But there is something I would like to share with you in closing about these two. And I think it was best said by Mason in one of his writings. He said, for example, while he was composing his letter for the scholarship, he took the time to educate himself on the lives and legacies of scholarship's namesakes, but also in doing so, he was reminded of a familiar story, one of struggle, perseverance, and ultimately triumph of so many brown and black people throughout the world. He said he would be remiss not to reflect on the causal relationship between the courage of so many trailblazers and the opportunities afforded his generation. I hope you join me in congratulating Mason and Angelica because they will be and are already trailblazers on behalf of so many others. And finally, in closing, I think WAAL has done a great job in choosing the subject for this time, right now, for the program that you will see in the presentation of these awards, titled Elevating Voices, Shaping Our Future. I can't think of who would better represent us in this regard than Angelica and Mason at the award ceremony. I want to congratulate you from the bottom of my heart. I stand ready to call you trailblazers. Thank you.
And last but certainly not least is Judge Charles N. Clavert Jr. Judge Clavert retired in 2017 after nearly 40 years of service on the federal bench in the Eastern District. Judge Clavert became the youngest federal bankruptcy judge in the nation and Wisconsin's first African-American federal judge. This year, he will present the Honorable Charles N. Clavert Jr. Scholarship Award for 2020 and 2021.
Jackie Robinson, the first African-American to play Major League Baseball, is credited with saying to Brooklyn Dodger teammates, "A life is not important except in the impact it has on others." The 2020 recipient of the Judge Charles N. Clavert Jr. Scholarship embodies Jackie Robinson's words. As a high school sophomore, she began dedicating herself to helping people to overcome societal hurdles. This led to her interning in various federal and state agencies, including the District of Columbia Child and Family Services Agency, and advocating for children enduring unimaginable circumstances, the Administrative Office of United States Courts, the U.S. Department of Transportation, and Office of the University of Wisconsin's Vice Provost and Chief Diversity Officer. This standout servant leader has served meals to homeless individuals in Washington, D.C., spent up to 10 hours a week advising undergraduate students on how to pursue a legal career, served as a student liaison to the Civil Rights and Liberties section of the Wisconsin Bar Association, and served as executive director of UW's BALSA chapter, in addition to maintaining membership on BALSA's 2020 mock trial team. Moreover, she founded the UW Formation Project, whose mission is to promote and highlight the many faces and minds of Black women on the campus of UW-Madison. In consideration of these accomplishments, activism, public service, selfless endeavors, and more, I am honored to present WAAL's 2020 Judge Charles N. Clavert Scholarship to Gabrielle Tillman-Finellis of the University of Wisconsin Law School. Years ago, Colorado Public Radio recounted that when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was visiting a Denver church in 1956, he heard a spiritual written by Alma Andrazo that stirred his soul. In 1968, 2 months prior to his assassination, Dr. King said in a sermon that he wanted to be remembered for serving others rather than for his fame or his many accomplishments. He ended the sermon by lining the lyrics of the spiritual he had heard in Denver years earlier. If I can help somebody as I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with a word or song, if I can show somebody he's traveling wrong, then my living will not be in vain. At an early age, the 2021 recipient of WAAL's Judge Charles N. Clavert Jr. Scholarship began identifying the needs of her community and ways of helping others. She spent considerable time mentoring children in Metro Detroit and creating a program to bridge academic gaps between school students attending her middle school and the college preparatory high school where she was enrolled. She embarked on a similar mission in Atlanta while attending Spelman College by creating a program called A Day in the Life in conjunction with the Atlanta Public Schools. The program invited high school students to spend a day on campus with a Spelman student, to attend classes, to attend extracurricular activities, and to dine with college students. Both programs introduced young African American students to post-high school education and increased their preparation for college life. This 2021 recipient, a member of Phi Beta Kappa and a magna cum laude graduate, has combined her passion for scholarship and public service through legal internships at the Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport and Michigan's 36th District Court's General Counsel Office, and working with service providers and employers as an operations director at Reading Works Detroit to arrange job placement opportunities for individuals in need. On the UW-Madison campus, this scholarship recipient has served as vice president of BALSA and has met routinely with school administrators to implement a diversity and inclusion plan targeting all incoming students and new faculty members. A 1993 UW Law School grad aptly describes this year's scholarship recipient as focused, considerate, and a servant leader who pursues doing the right thing. I agree, and take pride in commending to you Amber Hobbs of the University of Wisconsin Law School as WAAL's 2021 recipient of the Judge Charles N. Clavert Scholarship.
Well, congratulations again to the 2020 and 2021 scholarship recipients. We wish you luck as you continue your journey in the legal community. And please keep in touch so we can continue to support you and all the great things you do in your future. At this time, it's my pleasure to present the WAAL Attorney of the Year Award for 2020 and 2021. The WAAL Attorney of the Year Award recognizes an African-American attorney who exemplifies WAAL's mission, who excels in the legal profession, and who contributes to the greater community. We are very lucky tonight to honor two exceptional female attorneys. First, T.R. Williams. Attorney T.R. Williams is the 2020 recipient of the WAAL Attorney of the Year Award. Ms. Williams excels in bridging the gap between where people are and where they want to be by artfully blending backgrounds in legal advocacy, public policy, community engagement, and public affairs. Attorney Williams was appointed as the Assistant Deputy Secretary for the Wisconsin Department of Health Services in June of 2021. Prior to this appointment, she held a position in the office of the governor for the state of Wisconsin and a host of other nonprofit and state agencies. She is a proud Badger and a graduate of the University of Wisconsin Law School. Attorney Williams believes that effective and efficient communication is grounded in focusing on edifying the listener. Through this type of communication, she believes individuals can be agents of change. It is with great honor and privilege that we award Attorney Williams with the 2020 WAAL Attorney of the Year Award. Next is Kristen Hardy. Our 2021 recipient of the WAAL Attorney of the Year Award is Kristen Hardy. Attorney Hardy is the Assistant General Counsel and Assistant Secretary at Northwestern Mutual, where she's a member of the Insurance Products and Operations team. Now, prior to Northwestern Mutual, she served as legal counsel and integrity manager at Briggs & Stratton and Rockwell Automation. Ms. Hardy is currently serving as the Secretary of the State Bar of Wisconsin and holds director positions on the boards of several local organizations, including Lotus Legal Clinic and the Bronzeville Center of the Arts. She is a past president of the Wisconsin Association of African American Lawyers, or WAAL, where she served in various roles between 2014 and 2020. Ms. Hardy is a proud graduate of Marquette University School of Law, where she previously served as an adjunct professor. It is with great honor and privilege that we award Attorney Hardy with the 2021 WAAL Attorney of the Year Award. And before we wrap up the evening, we want to acknowledge all of the sponsors, donors, and members for making tonight possible. Thank you to the following. Thank you to the scholarship donors who donated $500 and more. Carol Hayes, in honor of George Sanders, Domer Law, Greater Milwaukee Foundation, Legal Aid Society of Milwaukee, Marcus Rafit, Marquette University Law School, Michelle Banky and Associates, Research World Unlimited, Stafford Rosenbaum, LLP. Thank you to our gold sponsors who donated $2,500, Corello Carlson, Godfrey and Kahn, JAMS, Rockwell Automation Incorporated, State Bar of Wisconsin, and Von Briesen and Roper. And finally, we would like to recognize our diamond partners for donating $5,000 or more this year for the scholarship dinner. Foley and Lardner LLP, Reinhardt Borner Van Duren, Thank you all for attending our virtual event. I hope you enjoyed your time with us this evening. Please make sure to join WAAL as a member and support their programming for this year.